Good evening, everyone. Good evening.
Good evening,
Good evening,
sir.
sir.
How are we doing?
You're fine.
All right. So I want to apologize for not meeting up last week as well because of was it network or something? Okay, so I want to believe that we have been coding all this while. I think today should be day 10, right? If somebody should verify that.
Yes, sir. Today is the 10th.
Day 10. Okay.
Yes, it's the 10.
So I know I gave us an assignment. This was exactly the application we developed last time, combining all the skills we have acquired so far and all the functions we have covered. So we're able to come up with this particular app that helps, let's say, a compound or individual to calculate their bills. And I told us to apply it or replicate it as an assignment. I don't know whether if everybody got it in the class that day. I know that majority of us were not with our laptop. So we asked if we have updated our code to where I stop from what you are seeing on the screen. Have we all updated to where I am right now?
At my own end,
Okay.
this is not where I stop at this what's the name? Create an app solution.
Okay.
Okay, to build a questionnaire. Okay. Oh,
Okay. Okay. So is it different from what we have done so that we can look at it? Or is it
Actually, I think since I think since last 2 weeks I was not available. I've not been
okay.
able to even log in.
All right. So what of Mercy? I believe you have also, yeah, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening,
Sir,
Mercy.
I've not updated to this level. I stopped at the last class.
Yeah, this was the last class now. Was it the class before that class you are referring to?
No, this was not where we stopped. I think the last one was
Are you sure?
create an app that checks people's height. Yes,
Create an app that check what?
yes, people's height.
People's height. We have gone past that particular one now. That was not the last class. So
So yesterday we didn't have any class at all. Saturday, Sunday, no class.
yes, what you are seeing on the screen was the last class before we missed those two days. That is what I'm saying. Hope I'm correct, Yomi. I don't know whether you were in that class. What I have on the screen was the last activity of the last class,
No,
not
no. The last activity on the last class was the pizza when we were developing a pizza application.
okay.
Exactly.
Okay, okay. Let me check. Maybe let me see. I think it should be
Yes, this one.
this very one, right?
Yes, this is where we stopped.
Yeah, okay,
We
okay.
stopped at your final bill is
Okay, yeah, this is it. Your final bill is okay. All right. All right. So we want to advance to the next topic today. Since we are yet to get here, so I believe the videos are within our reach. You can always go back to the YouTube to make sure that we sit with those videos, because I wouldn't want to allow us to affect this class because we missed about 2 sessions. So just to pass this information across before we commence, I believe we are all in the main group, right? Everybody here should be in the main group, I think, right? Every one of us here, we are in the
Yes,
main group. Okay, so if you are in the main group, you will get an update. I think a free data analysis session will be coming up Saturday. I think so, but it's not going to affect your time. I will have finished it before your class. So just keep your eyes on that group. We have a professional data marketer that will keep updating you guys there. Okay, so the last time we looked at control structure. If I'm correct, we look at control structure. I believe that is the reason why I saved this file as control.py. We look at control structure, and I told us that control structure is a kind of no avoidable aspect of programming, in as much you specialize in application development. You cannot skip it. So it's a must-know aspect of programming, because it defines the flow of your code execution, like we have established, and it is an essential part of programming across almost all the programming languages, not just Python. The only thing you will find across the languages will be some differences in declaring the syntax, but definitely the concept, the communication look almost the same. So if you remember, I said control structure is divided into 2 arms. We have concluded the first arm, of which we were able to develop this particular app that we developed it for a restaurant that can help somebody to probably quote an item or a meal for a customer. So the whole of that, we combine conditional statements. So that app was to solidify our knowledge on the first arm of the control structure, which is the conditional statement, where we talk about the if statements, we talk about the elif statements, then we talk about the what? The S. So I don't really want to take much of our time, but I think I should ask this question just to verify if we have actually completed. I'm talking about you as a student. Can somebody unmute and tell me the difference between if and elif? If and elif. Can any one of you that have joined respond to that? Can anybody tell me the difference between if and elif? Any idea? I just want to know whether we have actually studied that aspect. Any idea? Can anybody try? We try. Please just mention your name. I thought somebody wanted to say something. Okay, so let me help myself. I just wanted to connect us back because it has been a while. Now, I told us that if is a conditional what? Function under control structure that only verify the true value, because these are logical function. And across all programming languages, the logical functions has 2 basic values: the true value and the what? The false value. And I told us that the if can only check where the condition is true. If the condition is false, then the if will not output anything. Remember, we tried all this. And then I also said that where you want to define multiple true values before you arrive at the first value, the elif comes in. So if you look at this syntax here, we say if size is what? Small. The bill of the client should be what? 15. It could be 15 naira, it could be $15. Elif, that is, you are capturing another true value. That is, the size can as well be M. And then here you are also capturing another true value. This is actually where you capture false value. So which means that all these, they are true values. So we should understand the scenario for using elif. If your true value is limited to 1, you have no business using what? Elif. You could just do if, and then you jump to what? To the S. All right? So that is to settle that aspect. So I believe now we understand when to use if, when to use elif, and when to use S. Right? Now we are looking at the second arm of it, which is Python loops. So let me, I think I need to create a different file so
We
that
can't hear you.
you can't hear me. Please, can any other person check if it's the same across? Can you hear me now? Please, can someone else confirm? Let's know whether maybe it's from his end or it's from my end. Like, I need additional person to confirm. Oh, Mr. Yomi, can you hear me now? It seems people don't want to talk today. Is it clear now, Mr. Yomi? Is I need to be sure so that I can proceed. Somebody should confirm now if I'm good. Are we together now? I need a confirmation.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So I want to create a different file so that we can separate them. So as usual, once I'm in my project, I'll select new file, and then I'm selecting Python file, and I'm naming it as loop, Python loop, loops.py. So let me make sure that I'm in the current file. So we are looking at Python loop. So that's the topic for tonight. So let me see how fast we can go to see if we can actually finish it, but I doubt it. Now, just like we treated the first arm of the control structure, and then we wrap it up with a project. So the same thing. So this section is for me to teach us the functions itself. And then probably tomorrow we look at the application. We see how we can also use it to come up with a project. So let's start with the definition. What is Python loop? So a Python loop is a control structure that allows you to execute a block of code repeatedly. Because of time, I don't want to write. Let me just write this. I said what? A Python loop is a block of code. Sorry, is a control structure. Control structure. That allows you to execute a block of code. Let me break it here. Repeatedly for a specific or specified or specify numbers, number of item, or until a certain condition is met. All right, so this is a simple definition of loop. Now, a practical example is your operating system. The window that is running on your system. You will agree with me that until you shut down the system, until you click on the shut down button, the window will keep running, which means that what? The window will continue to what? To loop. So loop is actually repeating a task until something interrupts it. So it's become your responsibility as a programmer when applying this concept to state the condition at which it's going to stop. And then if that condition is not stated, then it will continue. So we use this concept a lot in programming. So we have different types of loop. But I'm going to focus on the major ones because I know once I'm able to teach us the major ones, you should be able to what? To add little research and balance up the rest. So we have under type of Python loop, types of Python loops. We have the first one as for loop. We have the for loop. So most time in programming, it seems we hear this one than every other one just because of its efficiency. Nobody uses what does not produce maximum results. Or most of the app structure probably supports the for loop. So let's look at so like I said, let's just look at the simple syntax. So I'm going to be focusing on this one first. Let's look at the simple syntax of the loop, the for loop, rather, for loop. So the simple syntax here is that for item in a list of items, let me use comment to so what we are doing here, we are not just applying it for basic purpose. So we are looking at it from the angle of how can we use it to do something meaningful, just like word problem. So now we are saying that what the syntax is that for item in list. So I'm just using this to explain the concept. I believe after this, you understand what we're talking about. In items, then colon, then followed by do something, to each item. Do something to each item. Now, what we are saying here is that, remember that we have treated Python what? Lists when we were on the advanced data type. And remember that then we define lists as one of the Python multi structured data type, which can hold multiple values, right? Now we are saying that we want to loop across those items. Let's say you create a Python list, a list of fruits, and you throw in mango, you throw in pawpaw, you throw in maybe cashew, you throw in apple. Now we want to use the loop concept to print them out. You know, when we are learning them, we have to use the print command. But in this case, we want to iterate. So this is one of the terms you need to understand when you are dealing with what? A for loop. Iteration. Iteration means that what? You are going to what? Hover across the container or set of arrays of value and then call them out. So if you look at the first part of it, it says for item in list of items, the item does not have X. Why item have S? So the item is the name of the list. Then item, you are saying that as you iterate over the lists, over the bucket, as you be calling this item, you are like indirectly creating a variable that once it iterates a value, it stores it in that same variable, then for the output. And that is why you created what? This. That is, as you are iterating over this list, any item you find, we want you to hold it here and then do something to each of those items that must have been held here. So now let's look at a simple example. So I just want us to know the communication first. So let's take example. It will be clearer now. Example. So I'm going to start by creating the list just to express what I just explained. So like I said, I'm creating a list of fruits, and I believe we still remember the syntax of declaring what? List, and the list bracket, which is what? The square bracket. Now, the name fruits, they are string. So for that reason, we need to what? Acknowledge them in the quotes. So I'll say, for example, I have apple, and then use comma. I believe we are not new to this. We should know this already. So I'll say, okay, I have this as the next fruit name, comma. So let's say I have pear. All right. So I have this. So now using the loop concepts, let's give ourselves this task. Now let us say we want to access lists, item 1 by 1. Let's say we want to access the list item 1 by 1. So that is exactly what we want to achieve. How many items do we have in the list? We have apple, we have peach, we have what? Pear. Now, using the loop concept, we want to iterate and pick them out. So the syntax or the solution will be, we now bring in the for loop. Remember, that is the focus. For loop. So we are going to say for is a function, is a loop function, is a loop type. Now remember that I told us that I'm going to dwell much on the the main ones, because we have actually different types of loop. So now you will not say for, remember that we want to iterate. So this is what I want to qualify now. For item in the list of item. So what will now represent our item here? I will say for fruits. For fruits, remember that the list itself is fruits. It has S. So I am indirectly creating a sub-container. So as it is looping, it will be throwing it inside that word container. And then we are going to use the in keyword. So anytime you are using for loop in Python, you have to acknowledge in. That in is what tells Python where those items will be called from, that will be what temporarily stored in the what the fruits as a kind of a variable you are creating. So I will say what in, then I will reference where I have my list. I will reference my list name, which is what fruits. So which means that what for fruits, because we say we want to access them one by one. That is the reason why this one does not have S, and this one has what? S. So for fruits, in fruits, iterate, remember the syntax here, then you go down, and then you will now print what? Fruits. You will print fruits. So I will say print. Remember that you have to be mindful of the indentation. We discussed all that. So print what? Fruits. Print fruits. Print fruits. So the outcome is that this will print out all the list item one by one in a different line. That is what it's going to do. So let's go ahead and execute the code and see. So you can see it now. So it prints everything out line by line. All right. So I want to pause for, let's say, 5 minutes, and I want us to apply this. Now, I want to do something here because I discovered that the output I get is different from what I expected. Now, the reason why, you see, when you put fruits, which means that you are indirectly saying that what you want to repeat the whole of them one after the other, because there are 3 items. That is why I printed the whole of it, because we mistakenly assigned the wrong word variable. So what we are supposed to assign is fruits, because we are saying that here is the entire bucket, and we say for fruits in fruits. And remember the task. Let's say we want to access list item one by one. We are expected to output them one by one. So which means that the first time it will iterate, it will capture what? The first one and output it. It will start again and iterate, capture the second one and output it. And then until it gets to the last value in your list. So that is exactly what we have achieved. You take note that it is the variable you created, a container you created to be, holding and displaying those values you are iterating or you are looping from the main list, is the one you are to print, not the list name itself. So your 5 minutes start. I want us to apply something like this. Once you are ready, you let me know. Okay, Moses, I guess yours is ready. Moses, your own is ready, right? Somebody raised up hand, or was it a mistake?
Okay. My own is ready.
Okay, so just go ahead and share your screen. Let's see the implementation. Moses, okay, Moses has been sharing. All right, Moses, we have confirmed your own. Please, can I switch to the next person? Mr. Yomi, please, can you come on board? Just share your screen. Let's see what you have there. Mr. Yomi, I can't see your output yet. I don't know whether
This is
this
my
is not your screen.
this is my screen. This is my output.
Where is your output?
I already did my thing.
Don't know if anybody can see it. So what I'm seeing here, I'm seeing Python projects, include library scripts. So that's what I'm seeing here. Okay. Mercy, you're also sharing yours, right?
Yeah, I've sent mine to the group because I'm not joining my laptop. I've
Okay.
sent it to the group.
Okay. All right.
Okay, he said my screen sharing is paused.
All right. So since we have confirmed it, let's just proceed. Let's just proceed. I think I just want to encourage us to be coding in the class once in a while. Don't wait till at the end of the class you go and start watching all the video. All right. So this is the first
Are you seeing
example.
my
Okay, let me go and check now.
okay?
I think it's coming up. It's coming up. I've actually left there before. I've not seen it yet. I think, has anybody seen his screen? Probably it's from my end. What I can see is that your screen is sharing, but I've not been able to see the content. All right, so please, you can stop sharing. Let's proceed. Let's proceed. I think it should be network. Let's us proceed, please. I just want to make sure that I complete the main function training in this section. So at least one thing you should understand is the syntax. Like I always advise us, always make sure that you do not play with the syntax. So this is the loop function, which is a for, and then this is a temporary a variable you created, and the in is a keyword, then the fruit is the list. Now, just to explain more about the loop, but because of time, the note is long here. Because of time, I will just dictate it for those that are writing. So let's just add more to the loop so that we can really understand it better. So loops allow us to tell the computer, loop, if you are writing, loop allows us to tell the computer to repeat action. To repeat action without having to write it repeatedly, like we have already established. For example, if we want the computer to print out number 1 to 100, just imagine you'll be using print 1, print 2, print 3, print 4, print 5, print 6. It's only God that know when you will get to what and the number of print statements you will have used. So instead of doing that, you can just bring in what the loop what concept. So that will now take us to example 2, just to see how we can achieve what I just mentioned now. Now, but before we look at that, let's say we want to, let's say we want to print we want to print or loop lists, item, and the statements. So there are times it might require this. You are looping item and at the same time you want to add a statement. We want to add a statement. So how do we declare that? So if I'm working with let me say I create another loop, another list, let's say list of colors, let's say red, let's say blue, let's say yellow. Now I want to print this at the same time. I am going to add a statement. So I will say for color in colors, for color in colors. Then I can say print for color in print. Just a minute. Sorry. So for color in colors, print color. Then we will concatenate. Remember that we've learned concatenation. So that particular text you want to print color. I can say, let's say primary color. So it's just for us to understand that while you are looping, you can add a statement. So if I run this code now, let's see what we get. So you can see that what red primary color, blue primary color, yellow primary color. So that is just for us to print a statement. So while you want to print or loop, you can attach maybe a description. I hope that is clear. Please let me get a response. Then I'll give us just 2 minutes to apply this, and then we move to the next one. So before we move to the next one, remember that if you want to print the entire, I want somebody to unmute and tell us if I want to print the entire list, how will the syntax be? Because right now you are printing them one after the other. Let's say you want to print the entire. How will you write the syntax? Can anybody unmute and tell us? Or you do it and ask us to see your screen? Can anybody try? No idea? Hope you guys are
I
hearing
don't
me.
understand.
You said? I should come again with the question.
I don't understand what you mean by.
Is it the question that I'm
Yeah.
asking, or you
Oh,
did not
oh,
understand this particular one? I can't really hear
yeah.
Moses very well. Moses, are you saying you
He
don't
said you
understand the
come
question?
back, come around.
The question, sir.
Okay, the question, look at this here. Here you are printing the
Yes, sir.
colors. Remember that what we are learning since using the for is printing the individual item from the list. And I am asking if I want to print all the
Okay.
items at once
Okay.
instead of printing them one after the other, what will the syntax be? That is what I'm asking. What will change from this?
All right.
Want to try now?
Yeah.
Mercy, can you try? Rashadi, can you try? If we cannot try, let me just say it so that we can go to the
It
next.
will print colors.
Sorry, I can't really hear him. It's like his network is not stable.
Print. It will
Mercy.
print colors.
Okay, sorry.
So we'll print color. We'll put S here, right? Instead of color, we put S here. Is that what you are saying?
Yes.
So let's run it and
Yes,
see.
sir.
So putting color here, what happened? You can see that.
Now let me try.
Okay, try. Mercy, try.
To print blue, it's going to print the color like in 3 places on 3 line.
Okay, that was exactly what we got the other time. That was what, when we make the mistake before. Instead of typing this, when we type
Exactly,
this
yes.
one, good. So let's just take note of that. Now let's quickly look at something else. Let's look at something else. So I'm commenting the whole of this out. To comment them out at once, just highlight and press Ctrl/ instead of commenting one or line by line. Now let's look at another application of the loop function. So here we need to know that Python has some functions, inbuilt functions that we can actually use to perform some calculation. And then we are going to also bring in the for loop in performing these calculations with these functions. So we are going to start with the sum. So I am going somewhere. So starting with the sum, I want us to take notes of this. Python has lots of built-in functions to help us work with numbers. So whenever you are working with numbers, I just want us to know that there are a lot of inbuilt functions that Python has that can help us to work with numbers. All right. So one of them help us to calculate the sum. That is, if we have numbers or arrays of number and we want to add them up. So let's start with basic until we get to the aspect where we are going to apply the for loop. All right. Now, for example, I want to create a list of student scores. So I can say student scores, creating a list of student scores, student underscore scores. So I will just create some random scores. Let's say 150, because we are working with function that work with numbers. So that's why we are dealing with number. And let's say 185, just to mention random numbers, 90, let's say this. Right. Now, what we want to do here is that using the sum function, the task here, using the sum function, using the sum function, add up all the values in the lists. So what we are going to do here is that I am going to create another variable, another list, or let's say a variable that the answer will be saved and then outputted. So which means that I could just do something like this. I can say total score. All this is to further deepen our knowledge on this loop concept. I'll say total underscore exam underscore score is equals to, then I will call the Python sum. So this is exactly what I want us to know, that it exists. Then I will supply the name of this list. That is, all the values you have declared inside are the values you want to what? Sum up. So at the end of the day, I will print the variable that is holding the answer, which is this. So I can just say what? Print, and then print total exam score. Print total exam score. So if I run it now, I get what? The summation of all the value. So that is just for us to know that there are a lot of inbuilt functions that can be used to work with numbers. So I'm going to give us 3 minutes to replicate this, just to encourage those that are coding alongside with me. 3 minutes to achieve this. And then for those that are not coding, make sure you document and then take time to verify.
I'm done, sir.
Alpha, are we still here? I hope you are on it.
Yes, sir.
Who has
I'm
gotten
done.
it? Okay, Mercy has gotten it.
Yes.
Moses has also gotten it. Now, so I actually deliberately use the direct method. Now, if we want to print this result using for loop, that is where we are going. So instead of us printing it, how can we use for loop to what? Iterate across this number and sum them up and give us what? This result. So let me take that as another example. It may not be the same, just for us to know that you will not use it for this. Now, so let's say using for loop, to sum up the values using for loop. Now, if I'm going to use for loop, I think let me work with this same number to avoid the. Okay, so that we can still have this one the way it is. Let's say we have, what will I use now? Okay, students, the other was student underscore scores. So let me pick some number also. Then the same thing, we have a variable total s not to make it different from the other one, score is equals to the sum students, I think it should be this one. Yes. Now, because we want to use for loop to print out the numbers, we have to set our initial. That is what each time it want to iterate, it should have an initial state. They will not have the increments. So for that, we are going to create a variable sum, and then we'll set it to 0. So I will say sum equals to what? 0. So that is to define the initial state, because we are using for loop. Then after that, we will now call the for. So I will create that variable just like the place of item the other time in items, or fruits in fruits. So this one is the variable that will be used to output the results. So I will say what? For score in this particular list in student score. I think is this one, student scores. For score in student score, remember the syntax. Then call the variable, which is what? This very one now, which is what? Sum. Then increment. That is what? Plus. Remember when we were learning operator, we analyzed this, what it meant. It means what? Add what? Add to. That is what you are adding to whatever is going to capture. So equals to what? Score. Equals to score. Then I can now print what? Sum. I can now print sum. So I can now say print sum, which is this variable. So if I run this code now, So I'm going to get what? The addition. So this is the for loop version of what you did here. So what the for loop did is that it iterated over the list, these numbers, and then each of them acknowledge them and hold them with this what? Variable. And then you have already stored this variable in this. That is, the first time it will iterate, it will capture what? 80. And 80 will now be what? Added to 0 to give you what? 0. Then it will iterate again to 0 and then get this and then add it with the function here, add it to the 80 there. So that is how it continued until it was able to add all the value to output them this way. I believe we understand it. I'm only trying to use it from different angles so that we can understand the concept of loop in Python. So let me give us some time. Let me give us 5 minutes to replicate this. Once your own is ready, particularly those that are joining with laptop, just notify me so that we can see it. Are you saying that it's highlighted what? Please, can you clarify what you're saying?
It's highlighted those numbers out. So let me send a picture of a photo of what is showing on my screen.
Okay, let me see.
I just did so.
You send it to the group?
Yes, the chat.
Sorry, I'm coming. I want to see the group. How come I cannot see it? I'm just looking for it.
So I say this with the group chat.
Yeah.
Just click on the chat, you see it there.
I can't see it here too. The image of it.
Yes, sir. I took a screenshot of what is showing on my laptop.
How come? Hope I'm not the. Has anybody else seen it? Is
Okay,
somebody
so let me show you. Let me
What?
show you from. Let me show you from my laptop.
Okay.
I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Like it's not summing it up.
Okay, it's
It's
calling the numbers
calculating
out.
it. Yes, it's calculating numbers out. Like it first called it 80. Then the next one, he now plus 80 plus 40, which is 120. Plus it again, giving me 140, like that, like that. And I followed your step.
If we see your code, oh yeah, just zoom it into this particular thing. Let me see. Let me see where you got it. Status. Okay, student score. Total score, sum, student score. That is 0 for score in statement. Student score. Please, someone else will check for me. Let me see. I think I can't really factor out the difference, but let me hear from somebody else. Who else has done it so that we can verify?
So I think Moses is raising up his hand. So
Okay, Moses, please, if you can share your screen, let's see Moses.
Yeah, I'm sharing now.
Is it the same thing you got?
Yes.
How come let me check. It's possible that if we are getting the same thing, let me just check.
All right, sir.
Let me check mine here and see what exactly. Let's know who is correct. Okay, can you hear me? I hope you can hear me.
yes, sir.
Now, the mistake you guys are making is that look at the indentation of your print. If the print,
Oh,
if you shift this print now to this, it will give you that print. That means what you are printing under this. But you have to return it to the alignment of the 4. Please
you are
check.
very correct, sir. Nice, correct.
So that's it. All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Now let's look at I wanted us to take one more before we look at another set of so that is how to apply sum. Remember that we are still talking about some of the Python inbuilt functions that can be used to work or manipulate numbers. Let's look at printing maximum. Let's look at printing maximum. There's another function we want to learn there. Printing maximum. Printing maximum number. Printing maximum number from the lists. So let's create our list. Let's say our list is students score. I'm just using students in order to differentiate it from the ones we have implemented. So let me just call some value. Let's say 95, 96, 55, 45, 59. Right? So let's say we have these numbers. And then we want to, I will apply the direct method first without the for, before we look at how we can achieve the same thing with the for loop. So we can simply say print, then we call the maximum function, we nest it inside the print, and then supply the name of the lists where you have the number. So what you're actually looking at here is we want to print the maximum number in this number list. So if I run it now, I should get only the highest, which is 96. So this is still for us to understand that outside sum, we have all this. So you can try that quickly, try it, then we will now apply for loop to achieve it. This one is a direct way of doing it without the for loop. So let's quickly confirm that.
Done, sir.
All right. Who else has gotten it? Okay, so let me assume that we are all good. Now let's see the for loop version. Now using for loop. Using for loop with the mass function. So let me create another, let's say, student. Then let me call some number, let's say 150, 142, 180, 185, 120, 121, let me just have much number this time around. All right. Now, remember what we want to print. We want to print the maximum. We want to print the maximum. So what we are going to do is to say, we set, whenever you are using the for loop, you must always have the initial step where it's going to iterate from. So we'll quickly set that just like what we did the other time. We'll just say what? Mass underscore equals to 0. Now, if you put this place, we are setting 0 to 1. It will step 1, step 2. So you can change it, but we always set it to what? 0. Now, before you will now, just like what we did the other time, we'll now say for, you create your temporary what? Variable. So let me just, in order to differentiate it from the score we have used here before. For score in the students. For score in students. Now we are bringing conditional statement here, which is if, because if scores, which is this now, if scores is greater than the mass that you set, which is 0. Now we are supposed to put the column here, greater than 0. Then here is another condition you are bringing. So you put another column there before you go down. If this is greater than 0, what should happen? It should print mass. It should print mass, which is this. It should print mass equals to the scores. The scores. Now, finally, to avoid that mistake, you return this to the for alignment. Then you now say print. We are printing what? Mass score. Mass score. This is what we are printing. And then let's run it and see what we are going to get. So you can see it. So you print out the highest. The highest there is what? 185, which is what? This. So let me give us some time to also try it. So you are trying from here. So make sure that you take note of the syntax. All of this is to make us to understand different ways we can use the for loop. So let me give us some time. So we are drawing the curtain here. Go and look at different scenarios to master the for loop. And then the other ones you might see. Then tomorrow we'll start with a for loop with range that will eventually take us to how to create what we call password generator using the loop concepts. So even if I start it now, I cannot finish it. So I would rather just leave it for tomorrow. So we know that tomorrow on we are focusing more on how to generate password. You know, sometime when you enter some sites, you know, they will ask you to enter your password and there will be what? An option. How many of us have said that? There will be an option for you to use their password generator. So they must have program an app that can help you where you cannot put your password together to generate random password for you. So that is what the app we are going to develop tomorrow that will help us to, you know, apply this entire for loop concept, because the next class will be looking at more advanced function. So do you have any question? But tomorrow we are going to take on a project where we are going to apply all this that we have learned and even more. Any question, please? Do we have any question?
On today's class, no, sir.
All right. Then those of you that are still owing me assignment, like Mercy, you say you have not done the very last class assignment. So please make sure that you go and watch the video if you cannot remember and apply it and follow up. Please, everybody should follow up to where we stop. I expected every one of us to have taken advantage of those 2 classes that we missed to have put themselves in order. So, all right. So if there's no question, see us tomorrow, same time. Thank you for joining.
Good night, sir.
Good night.